Okay, I was sorry. I was getting a couple people, I guess, that were having trouble with the link, but it seems like a good chunk of people got have the correct ones. So, all right, let's go ahead and get moving. It's 6:05, so got a lot to cover. Um, this is being recorded so that we can review it later. So, good evening, everyone, and thank you for spending part of your Friday night with us. Um, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Steve Fuss. I'm the president of RAM Youth Football and Cheer. I've been fortunate enough to serve as a president for the past 2 years, and have been involved with the organization for almost six. I'm incredibly excited to officially welcome everyone to the 2026 season, which is an especially meaningful one for our organization. Ram Youth Football and Cheer began in 1966, making this our 60th season. For 6 decades, generations of athletes and families from Hebron, Andover, Marlboro, Columbia, Bolton, and the surrounding community have been part of this program. The Rams, the black and yellow, have become a staple and a source of pride in our local community. This season gives us an opportunity to not only celebrate that history, but to continue building a program that future generations will be proud to inherit. We are also coming off an amazing 2025 season. All three football teams that were eligible for the postseason made the playoffs and hosted home playoff games. Our micro and senior teams advanced to their championship games, and our micros brought home a Super Bowl title. On the cheer side, every squad placed in competition and continued to represent RAM amazingly well. Our goal this year is to build on that success. We have strong participation across the organization, having filled now four tackle football teams, four cheerleading squads, and our youth flag program. We're excited about our athletes, our coaching staffs, and the season ahead. Tonight's meeting is intended to give families a clear overview of what to expect. We're going to cover schedules, equipment, communication, volunteer requirements, family expectations, cover some important policies, and also where to go to find additional information. There is a lot to cover, so I ask that you please place questions in the Teams chat as we go. We will have board members moderating that team chat. If they can answer it directly, they will go ahead and answer you. If not, I'm going to review those at the end and we'll open it up for any additional questions. As I mentioned a second ago, this meeting is being recorded and will be shared afterward through our website and social media. Thank you again for being here and for being part of our 60th season. I cannot believe that it's already here, and I'm excited to get started. So this is our 2026 organization chart. I'm not showing this because I expect anyone to remember every name or title, but because I want families to understand how many people it takes to operate this program. RYFC is entirely volunteer run. In addition to our football and cheer coaches, we have nearly 20 board members, managers, and appointed volunteers working behind the scenes. These individuals handle registration, equipment, fundraising, concessions, communication, scheduling, facilities, league coordination, and many other responsibilities that allow the season to happen. Everyone on this chart has an outside job, family, responsibilities outside of RYFC. They donate their time because they care about the program and want to provide the best possible experience for our athletes. We simply ask families communicate respectfully, allow our volunteers reasonable time to respond, and remember that a great deal of work happens behind the scenes before our athletes ever step onto the field. We do have two open positions currently, volunteer manager and technology coordinator. Anyone interested in learning more can visit our website at rhamyfc.org, where the full position descriptions and instructions on how to apply are available. We would love to hear from anyone interested in becoming more involved with the organization. Quick note on apparel. Our 2026 online apparel store is open through A to Z Designs, which is a local vendor out of Columbia. Families can order directly through the store, and you can either have items shipped or choose local pickup. There are customizable options available, and we will also be adding special 60th anniversary apparel soon. The vendor is amazing, prices are reasonable, and if you don't see what you want, if you reach out with her, she'll definitely work with you. We will have a very limited amount of apparel available on game days, but the online store is really what's going to give you the best selection and flexibility to get what you want. The store link is going to be posted on social media and the website. All right, let's jump into our schedule. Um, our training camp period begins this Monday, July 27th, with tackle football practices at Gilead Hill. During training camp, all tackle football teams practice Monday through Friday. Pee Wee practices from 6 to 7:30, while micro, junior, and senior practice from 6 to 8 p.m. I do want to point out on this note, we are working to get Crossbar updated with these times. It does say 5:30 because that's what we'll transition to once we go into the normal schedule outside of training camp. But the practices will start at 6 o'clock for the training camp set period. Especially during the first week, please give yourself extra time to arrive, park, and get your athlete ready. When practice begins at 6, athletes should already have their equipment on, be lined up, and be ready to practice, not just arriving at the field. All cheerleading practices begin the following day, Tuesday, July 28th, also at Gilead Hill School. Mini cheer practices Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 7:30. Micro, junior, and seniors will practice Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 6 to 8. Cheerleaders should also arrive with everything they need and be ready when practice begins. Flag football begins on Wednesday, August 5th, and practices Wednesday and Thursdays from 6 to 7 p.m. Tackle football weigh-ins will be held on August 22nd at Camp Oakdale in Montville. We will send additional information, including each team's assigned time. Weigh-ins are very important, so anyone who cannot attend must communicate that to their coach as soon as possible. We will conclude the training camp period with our pep rally and team pictures on Friday, August 28th at 5:30 at Gilead Hill School. We're adjusting the format slightly this year, and more information will be sent as we get closer. Okay, just a quick review of the equipment that's required for tackle football. RHAM Youth Football and Cheer provides each player with a helmet, guardian cap, shoulder pads, practice jersey, and game jersey. Once an athlete reaches the full pad portion of acclimation, which we'll discuss shortly, all issued equipment needs to be brought to every practice except the game jersey. Game jerseys will be issued later on during training camp prior to weigh-ins. Families are responsible for providing a few additional items. A mouth guard with a lanyard. It's very important that it has a lanyard. It will be a penalty, and the refs won't allow them to play if it does not. We will have basic mouth guards available for purchase at the snack shack, but we do encourage you to bring your own. Football pants with integrated pads, meaning the pads are already built into the pants. That's what you're going to find at Dick's or anywhere else. Football cleats and black game socks. We were also able to secure this year, thanks to the work of a number of people, a 20% off Dick's Sporting Goods coupon that is active currently and goes through Monday. It is valid at the Waterford, Manchester, and Enfield locations, and we're going to make sure we'll send it out an email. It's posted on social media. If you still can't find it, send me an email and we'll get it to you. We're also working to possibly get one more 20% off coupon weekend as we get closer to the regular season. Okay, we mentioned, kind of touched on this acclimation period. For those who don't know, RHAM Youth Football and Cheer is a USA Football certified organization. All our football coaches, both head coaches and assistants, complete USA Football training each year. We follow their nationally recognized standards and safety guidelines, including the preseason heat acclimation period shown here. Purpose of acclimation is to gradually prepare athletes for the heat, physical activity, equipment, and contact. Progression works as follows. Days 1 and 2 of practice, helmets only with no full contact drills. Days 3 and 4, helmets and shoulder pads, still no full contact drills. And then by day 5 and on to day 6, we're in full pads. Full contact drills may begin. For an athlete attending every scheduled practice, this would mean that helmets on Monday, Tuesday, helmet and shoulder pads on Wednesday, Thursday, and by the end of the first week on Friday, we're able to go to full contact. One important point is that athletes cannot skip steps in this progression. Each athlete must complete the required number of acclimation practices, regardless of what the rest of the team is wearing. For example, an athlete who attends Monday and Tuesday but misses Wednesday would wear helmet shoulder pads on Thursday and Friday and would not be able to advance to full contact and full pads until the following Monday. Same applies if an athlete does not have the required equipment for that day. Our coaches will be responsible for tracking each player's progress and let athletes and families know what equipment they are permitted to wear. Missing a practice will not prevent someone from participating in the season, but it may delay when that athlete can begin full contact activities. Okay, for cheer families, uniform and equipment handout will be held on Tuesday, August 25th at 6 p.m. at Andover Town Hall. That's our tentative date. We have to verify with the town hall that they're still available on that date. If not, we'll share the updated date. Cheer practice will follow immediately afterward at Andover Elementary School, so athletes should arrive dressed and ready to practice. Before equipment can be issued, all registration fees and outstanding balances must be paid. RHAM Youth Football and Cheer will provide the uniform pieces, including skirt, undershirt or vest, warm-up, bows, and socks. Families are responsible for providing appropriate athletic clothing that is not loose or baggy, athletic shorts for practice, and white cheer shoes. Please check with your coach before purchasing cheer shoes if you have any questions about the correct style. Before the first game, each cheerleader will also need a black tank top to wear under the uniform and black spandex shorts. Coaches will provide any additional squad-specific details as the season progresses. All right, let's get on to our game schedule. If you notice, this is a game schedule for micro, junior, and senior. One note that I'm going to go ahead and mention, Pee Wee is not included yet because there are certain teams that were not able to field a Pee Wee team. The conference is working to get that schedule to us, and we should have it within the next week or two. But you'll see where it can align, we will attempt to align it with our existing schedule. We open the season at home on Sunday, August 30th against Westerly. All home games are played at Burnt Hill Park on the football field located at the far end. In week 2, travel to New London to play Whaling City, followed by our bye week during the Hebron Harvest Festival. We will still practice that week, but there will be no contact. We also typically take that Thursday off so athletes can attend the fair and wear their jerseys as part of an annual RHAM tradition.
Steve, sorry to cut in. We do have a question on the previous slide. I apologize.
No.
Does the athlete need to be present for cheer equipment handout, or can a parent pick up the equipment?
I'm looking on here, and I don't know if our cheer director is on.
I would imagine because the athletes have to be sized, it would probably be best for
Actually,
them to be there.
I see that our cheer equipment manager, Carrie, can you answer that question?
Perfect.
Yeah, so in that situation, we typically try to pre-fit them because when we do uniform fitting, we do kind of line up smallest to tallest, and then we go ahead and fit them to the uniform that best fits that cheerleader. So we would try to pre-fit that young lady if we could, or cheerleader. So you would just want to let your coach know as soon as possible so that they could make arrangements for that. Or you can send it to me and I can make note of that.
All right.
Carrie, it's me, Stace, the troublemaker, so I'll outreach you.
I kind of thought so. I got it. We'll take care of it, Stace.
Perfect, thanks.
Awesome. And thanks for bailing me out there, Carrie. I've never been fit for a cheerleading uniform, so haven't had to go through that.
If the cheerleaders have practice at the same time, they should probably be present. It's just a suggestion.
All right. Okay. So going back to kind of our schedule here, we talked about week 3 being the bye week. That's non-contact week. That's our Hebron Harvest Festival week. We return for 2 home games against Waterford and then against Montville. And then our only Saturday game will be at Wyndham High School. Okay. Guess somebody wanted to take the presentation.
Hey, Steve, can I jump in here on the last 2 games real quick? If you've gotten there, sorry, I'm paying attention to the chat, so if I'm skipping ahead.
Let me get to the last 2 because we do need to. So we've got the Saturday night games at Wyndham. You'll notice there's kind of an odd start time. I'm not sure if that is their senior game.
It's their senior night. Yep.
Their senior night. And you'll note, and the reason I'm pointing that out is with ours, you'll notice our seniors at 2:30. We're starting a little bit earlier to give that is our annual senior game, because that'll be our last home game against Stonington. And then I'll let Josh jump in on the Plainfield and Ellington games here.
I just wanted to kind of point out to our Pee Wees players, don't panic. The league is aware that there will be Pee Wee games that day, and they don't expect. We're working with both towns, Plainfield and Ellington, to try and figure out a schedule. So likely all the times will change for those last 2 weeks, but that's still in the works. We will announce it as soon as we have more information.
God damn it. They won't let me go back now.
Right.
I'm too dope.
Yeah, click with the other side.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna finish regular season with road games, Plainfield and Ellington. Playoffs begin in November and can run for up to 3 weeks. We hope they run for three full weeks. Ending with the Super Bowl. Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, in Plainfield?
Correct. Our Super Bowl is in Plainfield this year.
Okay, for the teams that make it. Our cheer competition will be held a little bit earlier this year on Saturday, November 7th at Foxwoods. All right. Let's kind of go about for practices, the biggest priorities. Think that they might have come in later here.
Let me jump in here real quick, Steve, while we're still on the schedule. We had a question, will the flag team be following the same schedule again this year? And no, the flag team will have a different schedule. We will try our best to schedule games that are aligned if possible, but not every team in our conference has a flag team that plays with the same age group. Some of them don't have flag teams at all. So the flag schedule will look different than this. This is specifically for tackle football, and it's really specifically for micros, juniors, and seniors. The Pee Wee schedule will also look slightly different because we have teams on here that don't have Pee Wee's teams. So during those weeks, there will be a different game. That is forthcoming from the conference as well. We're waiting on that.
So yeah, we are actively putting together the flag schedule with local other teams. In case somebody missed it, the flag practice, which I think was on the earlier slide, are going to be Wednesdays and Thursdays from, let me go back here real quick, just to make sure. Okay, flag practice runs Wednesday, Thursday, 6 to 7. And that's also Gilead Hill. And that'll be starting not this coming week, but the following week. All right. For practices, the biggest priorities are safety, focus, and communication. Because of our insurance and safety requirements, only approved volunteers who have completed a background check may enter the football practice fields or cheer practice areas. Parents and spectators should remain outside these active areas. The only exception would be a medical accommodation that has been approved in advance by the board. We also ask parents not to coach or interact with their child during practice unless a coach specifically asks for assistance. Even well-intended interaction can distract your child, the other athletes, and the coaching staff. Questions or concerns should be addressed before or after practice rather than while coaches are working with the team. Families may use the snack shack and restrooms, but please avoid crossing through or lingering around active practice areas. For Pee Wee, however, because of the athlete's age and the location of their field, we ask families to remain nearby in case they are needed. For flag, a parent or guardian actually must remain on site throughout practice because we're working with 4 and 5-year-olds. For the older teams, you do not have to remain at the field, but you should stay close enough to return promptly if practice ends early. Weather delays, cancellations, and early dismissals will be communicated through the crossbar as soon as possible. If you're going to be delayed picking your child up, please communicate directly with your coach. These expectations apply to both football and cheer practices, indoors and outdoors. We want practice to remain a safe, positive, and focused environment for every athlete. Okay, moving on to game days. We have developed a very positive reputation as an organization throughout the conference for the behavior of our families and spectators, and we're looking to maintain that. We absolutely encourage families to be loud and supportive. Cheer for your child and for all of our RHAM athletes, but cheer for our team, not against the other team. There should be no heckling, trash talk, or demeaning comments directed at opposing youth athletes, coaches, or families. During the game, please allow the coaches to coach. They are responsible for supervising the athletes and managing the game, so parents should not be trying to get their attention or begin conversations from the sidelines. Questions can be addressed at an appropriate time after the game. We have a policy that only allows 2 people from RHAM Youth Football and Cheer to address the referees, and that's the team's head coach and the game day administrator. Spectators should not be arguing calls, yelling at officials, or throwing anything onto the field. Yelling at an official is not going to change a call, but it can result in penalties against our team or fines against the organization. Our bylaws state that any fine caused by an individual's behavior will be passed directly to that individual. Put simply, if your actions cause us to receive a conference fine, you'll be responsible for paying it. There is also no profanity, alcohol, threatening behavior, or visible intoxication permitted at any of our games. Anyone who cannot follow these expectations will be asked to leave. We ask our athletes to show respect, sportsmanship, and self-control. The adults in the stands must model that same behavior. So with Crossbar, which is our new primary communications hub, for those of you who have been with the league for a number of years, you'll be familiar with Game Changer. That is gone. As is, if you notice, our website looks a little different than it has in the past. Sports Connect, which was the one that ran Game Changer and ran our previous website, was purchased and is being sunsetted. So we decided to move to Crossbar, which we think is a much more robust platform. We're going to use that for schedules, practice, games, team events, and schedule changes. Volunteer duties. So I actually just looked. It looks like almost all of our volunteer duties are filled, which is great to see. I do need to add an additional game in there. We were waiting for the date on that, and that will be updated. For volunteer duties, every family is required 10 hours, and that is tracked directly through Crossbar. We're going to use it for team communication, messages, and updated from coaches and RHAM Youth Football. Many of you may have gotten the link for this presentation directly from the Crossbar app. We'll also use it for weathers and cancellation, delays, field closures, and early dismissals. So what we would ask all of our families to do, download the Crossbar app, confirm your email address and mobile number are correct, enable notifications, check your team schedule regularly, and use the same account connected to your athlete's registration. If you do that, you'll already automatically be attached to that team, the correct team. If you run into any issues, please reach out to me. It is a new platform for us, so we apologize if there's any growing pains. We think that there's a lot we can do with it, but it is our first year using it. All right, these are the board's main priorities for this year, and they build on the work that's been underway for the past several seasons. First, we want to keep the program as affordable and accessible as possible while maintaining our all-inclusive pricing model. That means continuing to provide the major equipment and resources athletes need without repeatedly adding separate league fees throughout the season. We're also continuing to invest in our football and cheer equipment, uniforms, safety resources, and coach development. Over the last few years, we have replaced a significant amount of aging equipment and upgraded what we provide our athletes, but that needs to be an ongoing and responsibly planned process. To support those investments without placing the full burden on registration fees, we are continuing to grow revenue through sponsors, boosters, fundraising, grants, concessions, and apparel. We also want to plan larger purchases over multiple years. Equipment and uniform needs should not become emergencies that cause sudden increases in registration costs. And finally, we are focused on improving the overall family experience. That includes our transition to Crossbar, clearer communication, better volunteer coordination, and continued community involvement. The overall goal is to keep costs under control, improve what we provide, and build a strong and sustainable program for the future. Fundraising is an important part of how we keep the program affordable, but I want to be clear there's no mandatory fundraising requirement for families. The money we raise through these activities helps reduce the amount that must come from registration fees and supports equipment purchases and other program improvements. Earlier this summer, we participated in the dunk take at the Hebron Lions fireworks, so thank you to everyone who came out and supported us there. Our next fundraiser, which I'll discuss a little bit more in detail in the next slide, is going to be the Gold Athletics Discount Card Program. We are also planning to assist with parking again this year during the Hebron Harvest Festival. That has the potential to be one of our largest fundraising opportunities, but it requires volunteers to show up. The exact date and times and sign up information will be shared once they're finalized. Okay. This slide provides the specific details for the Gold Card fundraiser I just mentioned. Gold Athletics will meet with each team on August 11th to explain the program and distribute the cards. Families have until September 13th to sell their cards, and athletes will earn prizes based on their sales. Dawn Swagger, our fundraising and events manager, along with coaches and team managers, will be available to answer questions throughout the fundraiser. Her confirmation is listed below, and we will have a lot more information on this to follow. One of the biggest areas of growth for RHAM Youth Football has been our booster and sponsor program. Over the past few years, we made a much more intentional effort to build relationship with local businesses. That work has increased sponsor and booster revenue from less than 5,000 in 2024 to more than 16,000 last year. That growth is important because sponsors have a direct impact on what we are able to provide our athletes and what we need to charge families. Their support has helped us reduce registration costs for the second consecutive year while continuing to invest in equipment in the overall program. We are still actively looking for additional sponsors, so please let us know if you own a business or have a connection with a local company that may be interested in sponsoring RHAM Youth Football and Cheer. We do ask families to support these businesses that are supporting us. When you need a product or service, please consider one of our sponsors and let them know that you are part of the RHAM Youth Football family. Even something as simple as following, sharing, or engaging with their social media posts helps show that their support of our program is appreciated. This needs to be a true partnership. They invest in our athletes, and we should make an effort to support them in return. In this section of the presentation, we're going to go over a few policies that we think are important to refresh on. This minimum play policy applies to our Pee Wee and micro football teams. Junior and senior teams operate under competitive playing time standards, so there is no minimum plays at those levels. During the regular season, the minimum is based on roster size. So teams with 18 or fewer players means 8 plays per athlete. Teams with 19 to 26 players is 4, and 27 or more would be 2. These are minimum requirements, not a guarantee of equal playing time, a particular position, or participation in every phase of the game. Coaches will track play counts and make reasonable efforts to ensure each athlete reaches a required minimum. This is done to ensure that the athletes are put in positions where they are developmentally and ability able to compete. There is no minimum play requirement during the playoffs or Super Bowl. There may also be exceptions for safety concerns, missed practices, illness, injury, or disciplinary issues. When an exception applies, the coach will communicate that with the family prior to the game. The purpose of this policy is to give younger athletes meaningful opportunities to participate while still allowing coaches to make decisions based on preparation, safety, and needs of the team. We want families to know the appropriate path for raising questions or concerns. For routine team matters, the first conversation should be with the head coach. Most concerns can be resolved quickly when they are addressed directly and respectfully. Please have those conversations before or after practice, not during a practice or game when the coach is responsible for supervising the athletes. Especially at the junior and senior levels, we encourage athletes to begin advocating for themselves. For questions about their role, position, or playing time, it's often appropriate for the athlete to speak with the coach first. That helps them develop confidence, communication skills, and personal responsibility. If a concern is not resolved through the head coach, the next step is a director of football operations or director of cheer operations, depending on the program. Serious concerns involving safety or misconduct do not need to go through the head coach first and may be brought directly to the appropriate to the board. The matter requires a formal complaint. It must be submitted in writing to the league secretary with enough detail for the board to review and investigate it properly. Formal complaints and investigations will be handled confidentially. The goal of this process is not to make communication difficult. It is to make sure that concerns reach the right person, everyone has an opportunity to be heard, and issues are handled fairly and consistently. Everything we have discussed regarding practices, games, communication is also reflected in the parent code of conduct that families agreed on during registration. The expectation is simple. Be respectful, support sportsmanship, prioritize athlete safety, and address concerns through the appropriate channels. Most issues can be resolved through communication, but serious or repeated violations can result in removal from events, suspension, or termination of membership. Okay, and injury and return to play requirements. Athlete safety has to come first, so families need to communicate injuries and illnesses promptly. Any injury or illness that requires medical evaluation should be reported to the head coach as soon as possible. Any athlete with a suspected concussion will be removed from participation and must be evaluated by an appropriate medical provider. Once medical care is required, the athlete cannot return based on a verbal update from a parent. We must receive written clearance from a licensed medical provider that specifically authorizes the athlete to return to full contact football or to cheerleading, including stunting. Coaches are required to follow every medical restriction exactly. They cannot make exceptions even when an athlete says they feel better. Finally, please respect athlete privacy. Family and volunteers should not publicly post or discuss another athlete's injury or medical information. One final note here. This year we have, and I didn't create a slide for it, so I apologize. We trialed out an athletic trainer last year, and that trial worked very well. So at all of our home games and most of our away games, McKinsey, who is the high school certified athletic trainer who attends their football and other sporting events, will be on our sidelines to provide a medical evaluation and triage to all of our athletes. In the instance we need to involve emergency medical personnel, we will reach out and we can go that route. But having McKinsey there definitely allows us to provide more to our athletes. Believe it or not, that is actually the last slide I have prepared. So I will move from here to questions. I'm going to go to Josh, who's kind of helped out. Are there any in the chat we didn't answer yet?
None that we haven't answered. I'll clarify my response. Somebody asked if they weren't able to get equipment last week. I don't know if you want to clarify that, what the path forward would be, or
if anyone who hasn't received equipment, and it's about, I would say for football specifically,
correct, yeah,
which is about maybe quarter to a third remaining that haven't gotten their equipment, we would ask that you arrive the first day. I know we're going to have people there at least 30 to 45 minutes early. If you can't make the first day, you should arrange it with your coach as to appropriate time. But I arrive 30 to 45 minutes prior to the first practice, and there'll be people that can issue you your equipment. With that, is there any, I'll open it up, open the floor. Is there anyone, if you just want to hit the little raise thing, or if you can't access it, just speak up if there's any questions you wanted addressed. All right.
This is Stacy. Quick question again regarding the Pee Wee schedule. I know the games are still being worked out, but will the practices be uploaded to Crossbar as well? Because I know their practices, they have more than the minis cheer.
Yes, I'll upload those. So I mean, if I go back to here, their practices are going to be Monday through Friday, 6 to 7:30. But I'll make sure that gets added to Crossbar. Thank you for that. I didn't realize they weren't in there.
No worries. Yep. More so, I was wondering when that would, that Monday through Friday schedule ends. I don't know if that decreases during when school is in session, if it's down to just a couple of days a week.
And that's actually a really good point. So I went over the training camp schedule. I'll go over the regular season schedule once we get to games starting. So that's going to be that week of August 28th. Week of August 28th, which is starting, actually, it's week of August 24th. So we will begin Monday, week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice for that week. And then that Friday will be pep rally. And then moving forward, we will be on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practices.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
No problem. So I just saw a question on, do we know when weigh-ins are? I believe we need to be there by 10:30.
Yes, I will confirm that, but it is the morning of August 22nd, which is a Saturday.
Okay.
Where are parents signing up for volunteer duties?
So once you've registered for Crossbar, you can log into Crossbar, and there's a section for volunteer, and you can see the open volunteer duties. We are, like I said, I need to add an additional game in there, because we've filled up a good chunk of them so far. So there's not a ton left, but we will get that put out for the extra game, because we do need to fill in I think it's the Waterford game, the week 4 game. Anyone else? All right. Not seeing anything. I do want to thank everyone for joining tonight. I know, like I said, it's a Friday night. But we are very excited. This has been a lot. The board has been working literally since December on the 2026 season. We're very excited to get started on Monday. As always, if you have any questions, any concerns, I'm available. Our board is available. If it's specifically about playing time or whatnot, we again trust your coach. But if you have questions with Crossbar or anything like that, we're all here. And I can't wait to see everybody out there on Monday. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.